So I want to share a very important aspect about stress and cortisol that I think a lot of people need to hear about. Because as I talk to people and evaluate them, they're eating better, they're taking supplements, they're exercising,
but they're still stuck in this fight or flight mode that they can't seem to get out of.
Now, if you think about flight or fight, flight is fear, right? And fight is more emotionally, more anger, antagonism. Being in the stress mode where you have elevated cortisol and adrenaline for a long period of time is not healthy. It's been known to shrink your gray matter, shrink your thymus, the gland that helps train your T cells, your immune cells. So stress tends to paralyze the immune system. Stress tends to create atrophy of your muscles. It decreases testosterone. It forces the body to run only on sugar, mobilizing your body proteins, turning them into sugar, even though you're not eating any sugar. It tends to affect our digestion. It shuts down the pancreatic enzymes. It shuts down the stomach acid production levels of hydrochloric acid, which basically will cause you to get acid reflux, which can then lead to even gastritis and the feeling that you have too much acid when in fact you don't have enough.
The stress causes us to produce less bile, so it's harder to digest fats.
Our peristalsis, the pumping action of our colon, doesn't seem to push food through, so we get constipation. And it really affects our sleep as well. But other than that, the person's going to do just fine. But humans just have not evolved to adapt to the amount of sustained mental stress that we're being put under. I mean, if you think about it, you can have like 99% of all these wonderful, great things that happen in your given day. But that 1% of something bad that happens, where does your mind go? Your mind will fixate on that, especially when you're trying to go to sleep at night. Why? Because the mind's purpose is to solve problems. That's a good thing, right? But there's a big difference between problem solving and worrying about a problem, which is anxiety. Worrying is not the same thing as problem solving. It's not doing anything about it. It's just basically you're in this indecision, excessively thinking and thinking and thinking, or dwelling on this issue. And unfortunately, your mind is fixated on it, and you're kind of in this analysis of paralysis. You're just worried all the time. I mean, what do you think's happening to your cortisol levels and your adrenal levels? They're just like being jacked up. I mean, even when people go on a vacation, where are they mentally? They're in the problem. They're maybe still at work thinking about it. Or when they come home from work, they're still at work mentally worrying about it. So really we have two things. We have the external stress, and then how we react to the stress and how we worry about it and how we think about it, which that action alone is what's creating the destruction of our bodies. I've talked about this in other videos that literally stress can cause an ulcer. It can cause inflammation. It can cause disease. It can reactivate dormant viruses. So there's something really cool as a solution I want to share with you. It's based on this study that I stumbled on, which at first I was like, this is just so simple, but it's very powerful. And the study is called Reduction of Cortisol Levels and Participants' Responses Following Art Therapy. Now, this is very interesting because recently I've taken up woodworking. There's a guy down the street who started a new YouTube channel, and he has this incredible woodworking shop. And he showed me how to make this wonderful coffee table, which I will put a link down below if you want to check it out, because we videoed the whole thing. But based on this study, there's 39 people involved, okay? They did art for 45 minutes. They tested their saliva cortisol levels before and after, and there is a significant reduction of cortisol. And that is so awesome, because I notice when I get involved with any art project, or like especially woodworking, I mean, my stress level goes right down. I am totally into it. I completely unfixate my attention from whatever I was thinking on, because I shifted it to something else. Because sometimes when you're doing exercise or breathing or some type of mental trick to try to push this problem away, it doesn't work. But when you're involved in a hobby, whether it's involving art or maybe learning how to do an instrument or playing music or even bird watching, boy, that's a great therapy to take your attention off this fixated stress thing that you were involved with. So definitely comment below on what hobbies that you have that you do to help reduce stress. But the more that I look for constructive things you can do with stress to lower cortisol, They all have to do with shifting your attention. So definitely, if you're not doing that, you need to do that because it's a great therapy. And if you want to check out this video that I did on woodworking, I think I did a great job. You should check it out. I put it up right here.